Peace, family. Forgive the redness of my eyes. I've been driving all day. I'm a little tired, but I still want to get this message out. Over my last few videos, some people have been leaving comments saying that I should go easy on the Democrats. They're not in the majority and they can't do anything. To that, I say this. I believe that is 100% the opposite way we should be thinking about this. And because the fact of the matter is, whether you're Republican, Democrat, minority or majority, you are an elected official and you are still responsible for your constituents. Now, the Democrats find themselves against a Republican president, a Republican House, and a Republican Senate. That should tell them that their message did not get across to the people. They should be able to walk and chew gum, because not only are you still supposed to fight for your constituents, but you're supposed to fight against this Republican agenda. So this is not a time for you to go on vacation. This just means that you just got to work harder. And as I said, resist however you can this Republican agenda that's coming across. And I would be introducing legislation that sheds a different light on the Democratic Party. And I will force the Republicans to vote against it. And giving them the power to adopt this legislation and take the credit for passing it, I will make them reject it to show them who they are. Republicans care nothing about their constituents. All they care about is themselves. I would, first of all, if I was in charge of the Democrats, I would pass legislation that would prevent anybody, which I thought it was clear before. I would make it crystal clear this time. If you have a felony, that you could not be president. Not to say that you ever had a felony, but there's no way you should be convicted of 34 felonies and 2 weeks later be elected president of the United States. There has to be some type of probationary period. Introduce legislation that says there's no way on earth a sitting president of the United States should be elected office and have immunity for what crimes he may commit while in office. You ask for that, you request that, that's immediate disqualification. I would introduce legislation that would show the people that the Democrats are not about just welfare and people not doing nothing. And I will show that I'm for about protecting the people. I would introduce legislation that said that if you are a contributor to society, you have a house, you have a car, you have a child, or you have children, and you have a job. If your job is going through some type of restructuring or reducing employees or whatever, if you're a contributing member to society, your job should not be able to lay you off. Period. I will force the Republicans to go against this, because you should be about protecting the people and their interests. Change the branding of the Democratic Party. I would introduce legislation that would prevent the privatization of public services. Here you have the Republicans talking about they want to privatize education, they want to privatize Social Security, they want to privatize Medicaid and Medicare. If you do that, then what do we have a government for? If I was a Democrat, I would tell the people that this is a direct threat to not only the democracy of this country, but the security of the people. You cannot have public services in private hands. These people are not elected officials. They are not committed or bound to the needs of the people. They're committed to profits and proceeds. If they succeed in taking Medicaid and Medicare and education, who's to say what they would do with it? I would make that against this country's laws to prevent the privatization of these services. If you have a means to provide these services to the people and you're a millionaire, billionaire, then you need to demonstrate it in your private life. And then once you And if you want to, you can become part of the government where you be subject to the salary restrictions of a House, a senator, congresswoman, whatever. You cannot have a for-profit person in charge of public funds. Look at Elon Musk. The vast majority of this man's money come from government contracts. But yet he's a private citizen. He's using public funds to make money, and he's collecting 100% of the revenue. And this man is worth over $400 billion. I would introduce legislation that if Elon Musk had ambitions to own SpaceX or whatever, he won't become an elected official. Restrain yourself to the margins of whatever salary a senator or whatever is held, and whatever profits and proceeds that come from these ventures, the people will get a portion of it. It makes no sense for this man to have $400 billion all to himself, and the people get nothing. You having stadiums being built, baseball, football, basketball, hockey, soccer, all using public funds, and the people get no portion of profit or proceeds off of it. If I was the Democrats in this position, I would be introducing legislation to stop that. If a city want to use 55% of public funds to build these stadiums, build these roads, build these bridges, toll roads or whatever, then the people should receive the same portion in proceeds. And not just no one check. This should be multiple streams of income. I would force the Republicans to come out against this. You know, you can't go to the bank, borrow their money, start a business, and don't even pay the bank back, and you keep 100% of the profit. That's ridiculous. And this is what's going on in this country right now. And now that the Democrats find themselves in the minority, like I say, this is not the time for them to take a break. This is time for you to roll up your sleeves and show that you really about the people. So I'm gonna leave this video here. Like I say, my eyes is red, I'm tired. Leave your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll see you in my next video. Ashe.